order to achieve this, then you have, in this case, selected 4 areas to work on. One is change to substitute material. Secondly is to reduce the ingredient size. You have done a comparison that your ingredient, a costly ingredient, that the competitor is using a smaller size, and it's okay. All the nutrition is not compromised. So that can be quite substantial. And then change to a different vendor. Discover that current vendor is too high, charging you too high for supplying you the material. And then also you need to automate the process to replace the manual way. You have to rely on a lot of workers. Okay, so in terms of change to substitute material, you can quantify that the substitute material used to contribute 85,000 out of the 360,000. So you want to reduce that from 85 to 53. This represents 32,000 reduction. Quite substantial. This is the biggest item. Then secondly, to reduce the ingredient size will help to reduce the cost from 72,000 to 54,000. So this is a difference of 18,000. So you will have savings of 18,000 plus 32,000. You already have 50,000. Then change to different vendor. This is going to reduce by 10,000 from 30,000 to 20,000. So in each of the items, you also have a time frame for doing that. So for the first, you will do it in the 3rd quarter of the year. This is the yearly plan that we are talking about. So the second item will be done in the 1st quarter. Then third item in the 4th quarter, and the 4th item. So this is going to reduce another 10,000. Third item. So the 4th item will reduce the cost from 27 to 15. This will give another 12,000 saving. So altogether, you have 72,000 cost reduction, which is 20%. So I think with this example, what we have talked about, maybe in a more abstract term, also we have to struggle with the different jargons like ocean, like methods and goals and measures and so on. Hope with this example becomes clearer for us to grasp. Just like when we had the 2 lessons on survey, using customer survey, using a questionnaire, how to design that questionnaire. So at first we have to go through the concepts. Then by going through 3 examples from Tan Xiang, we were able to better understand how to proceed if you want to do a customer survey, how to design that questionnaire and so on. So in a pictorial form, normally for cost accounting, they talk about three things: the material cost and the overhead cost. Material costs are whatever you produce, in this case, the food, and also of course for a food outlet, this will also incur overhead. So you have to rent the premise. You need pay for utility and so on. And then, of course, you need to employ people to do the job. This is not true example of a food outlet. In the case of a food outlet, the material costs have been about 40%. It's just to show the numerical linkages. So you look at a bar chart like this. Okay, so material is the biggest contributor. Then the overhead. The overhead is the second. So you focus on these two, you will achieve greater cost reduction. So on the material, the first item, the second item, and the third item are identified when you do an analysis of the material. So there are three major contributors, and then there are many others which added up to 13,000 to 12,000 out of I think this is expressed in thousand, so I will correct this. So the first one is 85, the second one is 72. So reduce these two will be more substantial, and then also the third item. And then on the overhead, which is about nearly 50%, by automating the process, you will reduce the overhead cost. So this is the whole idea. So from one level, so when you are doing management, sometimes we use what we call a Pareto principle, that not all the cost components are equal. So you pick on most important to work on. So a bar chart will allow you to have a very easy grasp. So after you have done that, then you further go to the next stage. After identifying material and overhead as a major contributor, whereas labor is not that important, then you focus on these two areas, and especially on the material side, you look at three items or three methods to do cost reduction. On the overhead one, if you do all this, you will be able to achieve the 20% cost reduction. So we say that a definition of a breakthrough management is when you set up the target you have no idea how to do it, because you only know how to do it with the process that you are familiar, the old way that you have been doing. But after you start to do the analysis and do the planning, or in Buddhist steps, we call this the preparation step. Then you able to set up specific plans that will help you achieve your overall goal on this specific area that you working on. So this is a cost reduction example of a food outlet. Okay. So earlier we talked about in the last lesson, you may remember I said that when I worked with a HP, it was already a very, very well-managed company. And the methodology they use, they call it management by objective, MBO for short. So compare with a TQM, now we add a Buddhist TQM with a Buddhist element. What is the main difference between MBO and TQM? MBO, or management by objective, focuses on the results. So for those of you who have worked in American companies, you often hear them ask a question. When you start to give a very long explanation, people get impatient, and then they say, don't tell me all this detail, I'm not interested. Tell me the bottom line. So what do we mean by the bottom line? By bottom line is if you have read an annual report of a company, let's say you buy share, so they will send you an annual report on the performance. So there is a one page that you probably need to go without going into the detail. That is the revenue and expenditure, and the difference between the revenue and expenditure will give the profit. So the profit is normally shown on the bottom line, the last item. So when they say, tell me the bottom line, they only want to know the result. This is the big difference. So whereas MBO focuses on the results, Hoshin focuses on the process, the processes to ensure the results. So in Buddhist terminology, MBO approach focuses on the effect, result. The Buddhist TQC management methodology or approach focuses on the causes. So it's a cause and effect. You may remember the story about Konosuke Matsushita. Most American company would very straightforwardly tell you that their objective is to make money, to make profit. But Konosuke Matsushita had a different way of expressing the objective. He said that his objective of establishing Matsushita is to serve the society with a product, with in the case electrical and electronic product. And if we can serve the society well, then the profit is an outcome. So in Chinese, there is an expression about cause and effect. Whereas a lot of people are afraid of the effect, it is said that the Bodhisattva know that the effect is an outcome. So the Bodhisattva will focus on the causes. So if you want to prevent suffering, bad effect, then you go and understand what causes that, and then you stop that. So they have a saying that ordinary beings are afraid of the effect, the Bodhisattva afraid of the causes that will lead to the bad effect. There is also a Chinese saying, 只问耕耘不问收获. The earlier one is 凡夫怕我，菩萨畏因。This second one is just a continue. This is on the positive side. Just continue to plant the good seeds. 只问耕耘it's like in an agriculture society, you just work hard, plow the land, do whatever. 只问耕耘不问收获. If you do all that well at the appropriate time, then the results will be ensured. But what is the difference? The difference is that many companies that focus on the result will have managers that will manipulate the numbers. So they will attain the result by unscrupulous means. And for many American companies, this is quite common practice. And if this manager or vice president is very smart, he gets away from it and in fact get rewarded for using this unscrupulous method. So this is the difference between these two different approaches. So when you have achieved the desired goal of a direction, you should know how you achieve the goal. So in the case of PQM, you are not contented to say, oh, okay, I have achieved the goal already. But remember, you have set 4 things to work on, so you go back and check those 4 areas. And so you know that which area you have achieved the goal or exceeded the goal set, and which area you didn't achieve. This is very important to go back, step back, then understand the relationship. Not only getting the goal, but how you achieve the goal. Similarly, if you fail to achieve the goal, you should also know which part of your methods fail to contribute the overall goal. So this is the essence of a Hoshin review process. So in the case you set 20% cost reduction and you only achieve 18. In the case of a result-oriented company, then you are considered a failure. I find it very strange. In a sales company, the salesman has a sales target, and he is just measured by the the actual sales. He managed to close the deal. And if he achieved the target, he is considered a hero, well rewarded. But if he failed, then he is considered a failure. This is something very strange. So the people in the sales area often know how to manipulate with people. So, for example, if they already received the order, and before that last order, that deal that they received already reached his target, so he will push that to the next cycle, the next year, which can be detrimental to the company because there are competitors out there. So here, when you fail to achieve the goal, you are not just penalized for your failure, but you know where you have done well. You know which are the areas that you need to continue to work on. You have achieved 18%, so knowing out of the 4 areas, which are the ones that you slip, you can then go back and work on that, and hopefully in the next quarter of next financial year, you will be able to achieve that goal. So you must understand that you should not ignore the time delay between the effect and results, and also the influence of external factors on your result. Okay, this is the same as a cause and effect. People will ask the question, this is a person dealing with drugs, and he is very rich. Another person, like being very honest, end up being very poor. So where is cause and effect? But you must understand that if the person dealing with drug trafficking actually is affecting a lot of people to get them addicted. So the result may not show up in this very life. It will show up in the next life. And similarly, the good deeds that that person has performed, he is reaping the results now. So there is a difference. If you only look at short term, you will not be interested to plant the seeds that will take long time to bear fruit. For example, if you have a land, you plant a durian tree, it will take 4 to 5 years before you get good harvest. But if you plant other things like watermelon, papaya, maybe pineapple, then it will take shorter time to bear fruit. So actually, sometimes a person gets promoted, and then because he has already pushed forward the order that was meant to be the next year, then he gets promoted, and then another person taking over his job will actually suffer. But in the case of an MBO style, focusing on the results, this person suffer as a consequence of the action of the predecessor. It can be an opposite case where the predecessor has done a lot of good things, and then you are lucky, you happen to inherit that job, and so you are reaping the fruits actually planted by him. In IBC, we have examples. In IBC, we grow a lot of fruit trees. Most of the fruits that we harvested and are still harvesting are the ones planted by a student called Mahabunda many years ago. He has graduated. So sometimes managers cannot understand why they don't understand this time delay between the effort and the results, and also the influence of external factors. I remember one person being promoted because that year the government wanted to privatize telecoms. So after privatization of the telecom, it's managed in a different way, and then they decided to invest in a lot of new equipment. So this company happened to be in this particular business. So it wasn't so much the effort of that salesperson himself, but he is an external factor. One of the major customer, actually the biggest contributor for that year is telecom, and he gets promoted. And then when he gets promoted to another level, the following year, there is no such external factor. So one year he was like a hero, and then the second year, the third year, it's like he became from an achiever to a failure, all because everything is just based on the sales number, the results of what you achieve. This is very common companies. So you must understand that it is only possible to review the results fully and effectively when you establish close linkage between your ocean and method, between your goal and measures. So it's not enough to say, okay, I have achieved it. But if you have achieved it, know how you achieve. And if you fail to achieve, also that is not the end of the world. Then understand which areas were the ones that you missed out. That this is preparation, execution, and review. So during the review, it will help you to plan for the next period, next financial year. So this I want to emphasize. Okay, I think today maybe I will stop here because in the middle of a 3-day retreat for some reciting the Buddha's name. Today is the final day. So this is a good point to stop. So we will end earlier. Okay. So I pass time back to Sister Lily.
Thank you, Sifu. After the preparation and the main execution, we have come to review. Let us invite Sifu to lead us on the merit transference.
Okay, so you continue first. Sorry, I missed what you said just now.
Okay, I invite Sifu to lead us on the merit transfers.
Okay, then I need to do screen share.
Okay.
Okay. Open the file. This is next one. Okay, hopefully yes. Okay, so please put the palms together to recite the verses of transference of merit by Shantideva. May all beings everywhere, plagued with the sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of our merits.
We would like to express our gratitude to Venerable Wei Wu for sharing his time to guide us on Buddhist total quality management. Thank you once more to all who gave up their free time to attend today's session. We will continue next Sunday on the 19th of March, 2023 at 9 a.m. See you then. Finally, everybody, please put your palms together and bow to Venerable Wei Wu. Thank you.
Okay, see you next weekend.